gang, it's time for the video of the day. I'm your host, Greg. Welcome. Now, this video, obviously from the title, is going to be about cold weather and your vehicle. Some things you can do to help when this weather gets this cold. You want to make sure that your oil is warm. Now you say, Greg, we got temperatures outside that are negative single digits and wind chills that are in the double digits, in the teens and 20s in the negative. Yes, it's cold. Some things you can do. Number one thing you should always make sure of, especially when cold weather like this, or if you get a lot of damp weather, if you get several days of rain, keep your fuel tanks full. Works with gasoline, works with diesel fuel. Keep your tank full. Okay? That helps. A bottle of dry gas doesn't hurt. Okay? Dry gas or gas treatment for your car. Don't put that stuff in your diesel engine. Okay? But if you got a diesel engine, there's 911 that you can get. It's a little red bottle. Says 911 on it, or any kind of anti-gel. If you get a diesel engine, you definitely have to treat that fuel, because if it gels up, you ain't going nowhere. Okay? But some things you can do to keep the oil warm. Now, they used to, and I don't know if they still make them or not. You can check with your local auto parts store and see, but they used to make what was called an electronic dipstick. Okay? And what it was, you could pull your oil dipstick out, and you slide this one in, and it was long enough to get into the oil, and it was a solid piece of metal. It was maybe about as big around as a pencil. So it was like maybe that big around. Okay? It was about that big around. And it would slide down into there, and it had a plug on the end of it. Okay? And that plug plugged in, when you plugged into it, it had a heating element on the bottom of that dipstick, and that heating element would warm up and would keep your oil warm. Okay? Obviously, it's not going to keep it hot, but it would keep it warm enough to keep your oil thinned out enough so that when you started the car the next morning, the oil would be able to be picked up by the fuel pump. It wouldn't be so thick that it couldn't run through the fuel pump or run through the fuel filter or even run through the engine itself. Okay? Another thing you can do, get yourself a lamp. Okay? Get yourself a small lamp, maybe, 6 inches tall. Okay? And put a 100-watt light bulb in it. Put it under your car, right up near your oil pan, towards the bottom of the engine. Plug it in. Let it stay lit up all night. Okay? Just make sure when you come out the next morning to take off, bang on that car. Because that 100-watt light bulb is going to put out enough heat that if there's an animal out there that's cold, he'll go underneath your car and get near that heat. Or maybe a cat. Okay? And we're going to get into that in a few minutes. But that's another way. Okay? That will give enough warmth to keep that oil a little thin. It's not going to work as good as the electronic dipstick would, but it will work. It will help keep your engine a little bit warmer. Now, if you have a diesel engine, chances are you probably have an electric plug. Okay? And most diesel engines come with what they call block heaters, where you just plug the engine in and it keeps the engine warm, because diesel engines, when they get cold, they don't want to start. And it's very, very difficult to get a diesel engine started when it's cold. Okay? Even if the fuel's not gelled, it's very difficult to get a cold diesel engine to start. So, if you've got a plug on there, if you're not sure if you've got a plug, call your automobile dealer in the area and say, hey, I got, this particular model, it's a diesel engine. Where do I find the plug to plug in to keep the engine warm? Okay? In these temperatures that we're going to be having, you want to keep that engine as warm as possible. Now, there are some crazy people who have money who can just come back, leave the engine running. Okay? There are people who have automatic starters. Okay? If you have an automatic starter, and your car's right there by your house, then you can get up, every couple of hours and go over there and push the button and start it and let the thing run for 5-10 minutes. Let it get good and warmed up. 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, and then shut it off and Go back to bed for a couple hours, get up another couple hours and do it again. That should keep your engine warm enough, okay? But it's not going to work as good as an electronic dipstick or a light bulb, okay? These severe cold temperatures, I mean, you say, well, Greg, one light bulb, one 100-watt light bulb isn't going to put out that much heat. In these cold temperatures, get 2 lamps, put one on each side. I had a friend that had one of these big sun lamps, okay, and he put a spotlight in it. The big round lights are about this big and they're about that long, and usually at Christmas time you can find them, they're in different colors. And he had one of those in it. And of course, it was a metal like cone that the bulb went into, and it had a clip on the end of it where you could squeeze the clip and put it onto something and let go of it, and it would clip onto it and hold it. And he had one of those, and he would put that underneath there, okay? And he'd put a 75 watt spotlight bulb in there, and he'd use that. So that works any kind of way. If you have a trouble light, okay, one of those ones got the little handle on it, and it's got the thing on top for the bulb to screw into. It's got a little cage on the front of it that you close. You use it to, when you're working on your car. If you've got one of those, okay, if it's plastic, forget it. Or take the plastic part off. Okay, if it's metal, put a 100-watt bulb in there and hang it up in there. It'll keep your engine warm. Okay, if you got 2, like I said, hang one on each side. Okay, but you want to keep that engine warm. Now, another thing you want to look at is you want to check your antifreeze. If you don't know how, go to a place, have it checked. Trust me, it'll be worth it. Make sure your antifreeze will not freeze. Now you say, well, Greg, it's antifreeze. Yes, but it only freezes down to a certain temperature. Okay? Make sure that it's down so it's cold enough, okay, so that your water that's in your engine that helps keep it cool, make sure your antifreeze won't freeze, okay? If you take it to a shop, if you can't do it, they sell little devices where you put the hose in there, and it's got a little bulb on it, you squeeze the bulb, and then when you let go of the bulb, it suctions the stuff back up in there, and it will tell you if it's cold enough. It'll tell you how cold it can get before the antifreeze is going to start to freeze. Most of them, I think, go to like 40 or 50 below. All right. I don't think we're going to have actual temperatures that cold. Okay. But the wind chills are going to get down there. Okay. So make sure that your coolant is enough so that it's not going to freeze up on you. Okay. Now, if you're doing it yourself, okay, and it's not, and it's full, and you don't know what to do, okay, drain some of it out, okay, drain it out into a coffee can or into a jug or whatever, and then put straight antifreeze in it, okay? Don't put any water in it, because if you put water in it, that will bring the freeze point, that'll make the freeze point higher, okay? So put the antifreeze in it, and that'll take it down, so your freeze point can go lower, all right? So have that checked out. Like I said, keep your oil warm, okay? And make sure your fuel tank is full, okay? All those things will help, okay, when you go out in the morning to start your vehicle, okay? As far as driving on the roads, folks, you got to be careful. Temperatures like this, and I know a lot of states, they salt the roads. That's all fine and good. But in temperatures like this, salt's not going to do any good, okay? Because it's so cold that when the salt melts the ice, the water automatically refreezes. I mean, instantly, it's refroze. So you got to be really careful out on the roads. Okay? Even mixing sand in with the salt. Okay, the sand's not going to absorb the water fast enough because it's so cold. Okay? And on freeways, where you got long stretches, okay, and that wind is blowing, so now, it's 5 below, but with that wind going over that water, it's making it even colder. You get the idea, okay? So, be careful when you're driving. You never know when you might hit an icy spot. You might be driving and saying, man, these roads are great. They're clear. There's no snow on them. And next thing you know, you're spinning around like a top. because you hit black ice and you're spinning all over, or you hit a patch of black ice and you slide, and then all of a sudden the ice stops, and your vehicle is still going, and next thing you know, it's upside down. Okay, so be careful. Wear your seatbelt. Okay, just be careful. Okay, those are the 3 things that I've given you to go ahead and make sure that your car is prepared for this really, really cold weather. All right, so this whole thing has taken me 10.5 minutes, for Pete's sake. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up, put it on for you, and get it on hopefully before the cold weather hits. All right, so remember, like, comment, share this video, let everybody know that Greg the Crazy Trucker is out here. And as always, we try and be informative as we can here on the video today. And yes, the camera's moving because the wind's blowing my truck and the whole truck's moving. We try and be as informative as we can. So, take this video, pass it on to those friends who may need to know some of this information, and hopefully we can reach enough people, we can help some people out. Until next time, this is your host of the video of the day, Greg the Crazy Trucker, saying, see ya! Hope that helps.